Good afternoon, everyone, or rather good evening. Once again, it's Friday, 5:30 p.m. in Malaysian time, and you're back on the Sheila Exchange with me, Sheila Singham. Thank you for joining us. Today, we've got a few members of the audience on Zoom, and there's a reason for that because we encourage some of our participants and fellow our colleagues to join us so that our guest today, our special guest today, can demonstrate some of his skills live with you. Now, who's our special guest? It's Jason Kalaichelvam from Jason K Consultancy. He's our team building specialist. Now, several months ago, when the MCO hit, the pandemic hit, and we all stuck at home and training came to a standstill, I was one person who realized that we need to pivot. We can't do face-to-face training, so we need to learn how to engage virtually to do training on the virtual platform. And so I signed up for the Virtual Learn Custard program conducted by Muhammad Nazrin Wahab, where I learned how to do training online. But that was pretty serious stuff, yeah? And so when I started to do virtual training, I said, we need to engage people more. So Nazrin gave us a firm, fantastic foundation. And then when I had a request from a client to do virtual team building, the question I asked myself, virtual team building, can we do that? Because usually team building is associated with lots of people wearing the same type of t-shirt, running around in the field or in rooms or by the beach, playing games, making a lot of noise. How could you actually do that in a virtual platform? I had no clue. So I said to Nazrin, tell me someone who can do this virtual team building. One name came out. He said, Jason Kalaichelvam. I said, I have to meet this man. Any man who can sort of pivot from doing, face-to-face team building to doing it virtually, I have to meet. Okay, so I met Jason, and to cut a long story short, he was very convincing, and I signed up for his virtual engagement program, which I just completed last week. So you'll see me today with this. Thank you, Jason. You see me today with this fancy hat over here. That's a virtual hat, by the way. I'm not really wearing it. And my virtual background, I'm going to show you how I can change my background because Jason taught me that. Okay. So now I've got a different background, calmer, but the hat's still on. Welcome, Jason. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Sheila. Thank you for having me here with you. Thank you.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. I got so excited about what I learned from you last week. I thought, I just have to introduce you and what you do to the rest of the world because it's really awesome stuff. Being able to put on a virtual hat is itself amazing for me. Okay. So Jason, tell us about yourself and your career path. In the first place, how did you become this team building specialist, doing on-site face-to-face team building? Just a little bit.
Okay. Actually, I started my corporate experience in production. I had a boss by the name CP Yong that noticed that I am a natural when it comes to motivating the line workers. So he transferred me to HR. That was about 20 years ago. And once I found my passion in developing talents, that satisfaction in transforming people's lives, I knew that training is going to be one of the things that gives me a reason to wake up in the morning. I feel like that's my purpose in life because I truly love what I do. When you know the purpose of your life, you will find fulfillment in whatever you do. Today, I'm a HRDF certified trainer, developing people through soft skills, motivating others and creating bond among teams are my forte. And I've been conducting training for both the public and multinational companies in Asia Pacific countries for the past 20 years now.
All right, great. And I saw one little one that you are motivating and impressing at home just there. We had a special cameo appearance from Jason's son. Okay, now, Jason, what happened during the MCO when you realized that all physical team building had come to a halt and would likely remain that way for some time? In that sense, you and I were kind of like in the same boat, but team building, how? What went through your mind?
Yep, understand. You see, at one point, I was really troubled and down, like many of us. As a husband and a father of three, I have a family to feed, and I was so upset with myself for not venturing into virtual training way back before the pandemic. I was offered several times to do virtual sessions. People around me were encouraging me to go into online training, but I brushed it off because I was too tied up with physical training. So when MCO came, it really hit me hard. But I always believe that everything happened for a reason. So thanks to MCO, today I'm a virtual certified facilitator who helps fellow trainers to improve their engagement skills online. Even though I'm still learning, I'm having a lot of fun along the way.
Yeah, and we can testify to having a lot of fun in your sessions as well. Now, Jason, I kind of like what you said earlier, that about doing things that you're passionate about, because you and I do things similarly. I mean, I like to think I'm fairly energized in a face-to-face training session, and with all the skills that I've learned from you and from Nazrin, I have actually been learned to be very active online as well. But I can understand that sort of fear, gosh, we're so used to doing something in a different environment. Now we have to try and take those skills and apply it to a whole new environment. And I'm sure a lot of people are going through that as well. But if you're passionate about something and being in the business of changing lives, being able to impact lives, it's not just a passion, I feel, Jason, it's sort of like a calling, isn't it, right? And there are many trainers who are listening into this, and I'm sure that you agree. Many of those who are in jobs where they're really passionate, it's like a calling to be there. It's like something inside of you just tugging at you to go there. And so I'm really glad that, they moved you out of production into HR, because it's all to our benefit, right? Now, Jason, you have conducted several virtual team building programs in the past few months, sort of in-house for clients, and also public programs for other trainers to join. What has the response been? What has the feedback been on virtual training in your sessions?
Yep. You see, there are two types of people. One type that they realize it's about time we change how things were and adapt. And also the type that is hoping and wishing that things will go back to normal, how they were, the good old days. You see, but somehow those that are skeptical about virtual team building are the ones having more fun during the session. They will be very quiet at first, but once they warm up, they will be so amazed by the things that they can do in the virtual session. I do notice that the people who sign up for my program are increasing gradually. To answer your question, people are buying into this idea. I think this shows that more and more people are slowly accepting and going into virtual platforms.
Yeah, I do think so too, because I myself noticed in March and April, when the MCO came and everything came to a standstill, we still had clients who were a bit quite resistant to the idea of doing anything virtually, because they had never tested it before. And they kept saying, oh no, our people we can't hold their attention and all that. I even had a client saying, no, we can't hold their attention, Sheila, come and do face-to-face. And yet you and I know we can actually engage people for 4 to 5 hours, even 8 hours on the virtual platform. But it's all about using the right techniques. If you're just going to sit there and go on like that for 8 hours, you're going to have a lot of people falling away from the program. So taking that question that a little further, in your opinion, is it harder to conduct virtual engagements such as meeting, training, discussions, and all that collaborations on the virtual platform as compared with the physical face-to-face sort of sessions?
Yes, virtual engagement is harder, but it's not impossible. Anyone can conduct a virtual session, but having the ability to create virtual engagement is becoming a key competency in this new norm. If your audience are not engaged, how can they truly learn and understand what you wish to convey? The virtual engagement is a skill that you need to equip or develop. It won't come naturally. You see, you really need to put some effort. Anyone can host a Zoom meeting and invite people to join it, but not everyone can conduct an effective session, because that will require engagement and attention throughout the session. You see, virtual sessions have to be interactive. Virtual sessions have to be engaging. It have to be fun, because our attention span is lesser when it's online. Only through participation, the meeting can truly meet its objective, not just by listening. Recently, I attended quite a number of online programs. And sometimes I do experience speakers or trainers, they speak for 2 hours, 3 hours without two-way communication. You see, the speakers need to realize that they can't be doing all the talking. Some feel that fulfillment, by telling others about their own convictions. and thinking that the audience are listening. Trust me, these are the ones that enjoy listening to their own voice a little bit too much. Okay? I don't deny they have all the knowledge and wisdom, okay, and experience, but the approach is not effective. People will get tired from all the listening. So involve them. Then they will truly take in what you say.
I totally agree with you there. I mean, even if you're telling a story, you need to accompany it with things, maybe videos, questions that you address to the crowd and so on. I agree with you. And people have got this concept of like webinars. I'm delivering something. I'm delivering a lecture. It's one way. And I still remember those lectures in university where my lecturer, it's face-to-face, right? I'm there and he's just droning on and on and on for 1 hour, not bothered whether anybody is listening or reacting or anything. And I've been for trainings and talks like that face-to-face, mind you. I really don't know how these people are surviving on a virtual platform. And what you said earlier, there are some people, some trainers are still hoping this whole 1 year will go away and we'll go back to normal and it'll be business as usual. And I keep telling people it's never going to be business as usual. Because now you and I know, before, clients would always tell me, Sheila, can you come tomorrow? See me in Sepang and Bangi and all that, and I'll drive and I'll go. Today, you can just tell them, look, let's have a virtual meeting, and they're happy to do it because it does save a lot of time. Now, speaking about virtual sessions, we're not just talking about trainings, right? Now, Jason, do you feel like in a meeting, if I'm having a meeting, say a 2-hour meeting where I need to come up with solutions and conclusions and all that, is it appropriate to have some of these virtual engagement tools there? Or would it be seen as being a little too playful in a serious meeting?
You mean those engagement tools during meetings?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah.
Why must it be serious, We must always bring in fun in everything that you do, even during the serious stuff, You see, whether it's meeting or training, moving classroom programs online changes the delivery method, but it doesn't change the desired learning outcome. Okay? I mean, by bringing in your activities and games, you are engaging everyone. You are involving everyone to participate, and they are involved. So by getting their involvement, you will achieve your objective. Whatever message that you want to convey, you will be able to convey effectively because you know they are engaged, they are with you.
Now, Jason, do you think that in an engagement or meeting or training or whatever, how often during that, let's say you're having a 2-hour meeting or a 4-hour training, how often within that, or what is the interval whereby you need to do some of that interactive engagement, whether it's a game or just a Q&A using the chat group or getting people to unmute and have a discussion or whatever? What is the interval? Once every hour, or should it be once every half an hour? Or for how long should these interactions be?
Every 20 minutes as a guide, rule of thumb, 15 to 20 minutes.
which means that if you are doing like a training, then you need to have a little bit more time for that delivery content, right? Or find a way to deliver that content in such a way that it, one of these activities can be incorporated to actually deliver the content.
Yep, you're absolutely right. You see, the thing is, you cannot be taking the face-to-face physical training contents and bring it to online. You need to redesign it. You need to look at it from a virtual perspective. You see, so the things that the online method may not be applicable or may not be relevant when come to online.
Face-to-face,
the face-to-face physical method may not be relevant when come to online. So you definitely need to redesign it.
Yep. That I totally agree with that. Now, so what we are just saying now is that in a virtual engagement, what you're saying is we should incorporate some element of fun, even if it's a serious training or serious meeting. And I remember this because I was working with a training provider and they do predominantly IT training. And they said, "Ayo, Sheila, how to make IT training fun?" That was face-to-face. So, in a virtual platform, it's even more imperative that we incorporate these elements so that we keep people's attention going. Now, I do find, Jason, in trainings and meetings and all that a lot of people join in and then they switch off their video. All right. How do you engage then in a scenario like that? I mean, for me personally, if I'm doing a training, I always tell the company that I'm training for, there are a few house rules. And one of the house rules is that you must tell your participants they need to keep the video on throughout. Otherwise, I don't know who just came logged on online and then went off somewhere to, eat or have breakfast or do housework, and then they're not part of the training. So how do I know if the training has been effective? What's your thoughts on this? Is it some people, of course, feel that, oh, you cannot take away my right. I'll come on, but I don't have to show my face. What do you think about that?
If they want to speak about their right, then I have no right to challenge their right. But as long as you come to my platform, I think I have some right to request you to do certain things according to my house rule. You see, so and the purpose of that is basically if you don't switch on your video, you see, when you are on online training, unless it's one way, okay, it's just an information, fine. But if it's a training or meeting, it has to be two ways, right? You have to be interactive. So if you don't switch on your video, how do I know whether you are there or not? And we are already, away from one another physically, okay? At least if you switch on the video, I can see you, you can see me, the feeling of being in the same room. So that itself will create the engagement. So for that reason, usually before the training, I will send the participant an email, do and don't. So one of the area that I will cover is please switch on your video throughout the training. So before we start the training, we will always remind them, okay, let's check audio and video, okay, to make sure everyone switch on their video. That's what usually I will do in my training.
Yo, Jason, you are so diplomatic and so nice. I feel like a headmistress because what I always tell my clients is, please tell your participants they have to put on their video. And then I'll remind them when they come online in my session, I'll tell them very nicely why and all that. Then you still have some jokers, they'll go and put the video off. So I'll remind them in the chat. And I'll tell them very nicely, my only rule in this training is to have fun, learn, only one rule, put your video cam on. If it goes off and I remind you and you don't put it on, then bump you back into the waiting room and you're deemed as not attending. I mean, for me, I'm sorry, I come from that old school background where you want to be there, then you have to be respectful. And I feel personally, any online engagement that we're participating on Zoom or Microsoft Teams or any platform where there's a camera option, I find it very impolite to switch off the camera. the excuse that, oh, I haven't showered, I didn't brush my teeth, I didn't put makeup and all that. I think it's an excuse that you can go online without putting makeup and all that, although I did today to look a bit more presentable,
You
But
can
the
use
point
virtual background, virtual makeup. Okay, so
Oh,
you have
that's
no more
right.
excuse.
Okay, good. I'm going to show you how to. Can I just show everyone my virtual background here? That how I'm going to change my lipstick color. Can I change my lipstick color? Oh God, where's my? There's no lipstick color. Oh wait, studio effects, right? I'm going to change my lipstick color to. Ooh, can I have black lipstick? Did that work? Okay. There you go, Sheila Singham. Oh, it didn't happen. Gosh. Okay. Maybe I'm not meant to wear black lipstick. Today is not my gothic look, everybody. Okay, so the next question I wanted to ask you is, so we are saying that it's a bit tougher to get onto the virtual platform, but it takes more out of the trainer or the person who's doing the engagement, the more onus on you to keep people engaged. Having said that, Jason, do you feel there are some advantages to using the virtual platform for training? And if so, can you name some of them?
Of course.
Okay.
No need to drive.
Yes, please tell us.
No need to get stuck in traffic. No need to find parking. No need to pump petrol or petrol. Wow. You see,
okay.
you don't even need to print documents. Okay. So if I have a face-to-face meeting at 9 a.m., okay, I get up at 7 a.m. because I need a lot of time for my hair.
Your hair, huh? Okay. I can see that. To polish the head, is it, Jason?
Yeah. So, and also to beat the traffic. But if it's virtual, I can get up at 7 a.m., spend 2 hours on my hair, give it a good polish, and then still be in the Zoom waiting room until the host admit me at 9 a.m.
That's great. But
You're
joking, right?
Joke aside. Joke aside.
Okay.
You see, corporates get to save a lot of resources, okay, such as man hours, transportation time, accommodation costs. You see, when it's virtual platform, these are the area that they get to save. I'm sure those in corporate will agree, especially those working from home. They have experienced this.
Yeah, I agree with you. And on my side, Jason, what I have found is that because you've got just so much of time, and because you have got these activities that you need to put in for engagement, I find that it's made me become sort of more crisp and more disciplined in what I want to deliver. And so what I have to do sometimes, when you're talking in a classroom, you go on and you tell a lot of grandmother stories and all that, right? And yeah, it makes it fun and adds to it. But over here, you don't have that, because you keep doing that, with all the engagement that we need to do. Our cameo appearance guest is back again. So what we need to do is that we need to be more sort of disciplined in what we're saying, right? Now, what are some tips you have to offer those who are moving into the virtual realm to conduct engagements, be it meetings or, anything like that?
Yeah, I think I mentioned just now, you see, we can't just take the program that was designed for physical setting and turn it online by just putting them into online classroom.
Right.
I think we must keep the engagement alive, because that's the best and most effective way to make learning stick. My Sifu, Nazrin, Cikgu Nazrin.
Cikgu Nazrin,
yeah.
Cikgu Nazrin
our
who?
Sifu.
Our Sifu. Yeah.
Okay, he said this. He shared this analogy. Take the analogy of a car. You can take a car and add on wings and turbo engine, and you can make it aerodynamic. You may be able to fly, but the car is not designed to fly. The plane is designed from scratch to fly, but not the car. See, we need to see from a set of fresh eyes, Sheila. The contents, the durations, the delivery method, the right engagement activities. and the list goes on.
Yeah, and I've really learned a lot from your session, from your class, your
Thank you,
course
Sheila.
this week,
Thank you.
how to sort of really, I've managed to pivot by taking a classroom training, face-to-face training, and make it into an online training. But then again, from your sessions, I've learned how to ramp up the energy levels and the activities. Oh, speaking of activities, oh, by the way, everybody, I've changed the lipstick color, managed to do it just now. I don't think the platform likes me in black lipstick, but it allowed the pink. Okay, and I've taken off the hat and changed my background, and all these things done as sort of adds a different visual, and people go like, hey, there's something's changed. And I think that's important too, because if you're just looking at the same thing, because it's a visual platform, right? It's good to have these changes going on. And that's something you taught me, Jason. Now, Jason, are we going to play a little game to show our audience how maybe one virtual engagement game that we can play here?
Sure,
I think we've got quite a few people online, and to those who are here, it would be really great if you could show yourselves. To those who are not on the video, that we really appreciate. Thank you, everybody. If you didn't want to, if you're not made up, you can use the filter to put on your, lipstick and eyeshadow like I did. Yeah. Okay, come on, Jason. Let's play a game.
Okay. Yeah. Hi, Elsa. Hi, David. Jamuna, Fina, Anita, good to see you. Lane, is Serena here?
Yeah, Serena is there, but Serena is being shy, so it's all right. We'll leave her alone.
Okay, so let's play a game. Okay, as we all know, people love stories. So now we are going to play a storytelling game. Okay? The game goes like this. Like every other story, it starts with once upon a time. And then it will stop at because. Then the next person will continue the story and stops at because. And the next person will repeat the cycle. Okay, cool? All right. So the last person will need to end the story with, and they live happily ever after. The end. Easy, right? Okay.
Right.
Let me start. Once upon a time, there was a boy by the name Tito who is very mischievous because Sheila.
Because his father and mother worked long hours and he was left at home pretty much by himself. Tito was a very intelligent boy, but he got bored. He got easily bored because...
Call the next person.
Anita.
He got easily bored because he had a very active imagination and he was just so full of energy. So whenever he was left alone, he used to get into trouble. He would go into the neighbor's house and pluck the rambutans and peel off the flower, pull off the flower, pluck the flowers. And he just used to get scolded for the fact that he had a lot of energy and he had a very overactive imagination. And one day when the mother told him off, he actually answered her back because Davidson.
I just saw that coming. Because he's sick and tired of his parents not being there for him. So he spoke back at her and showing all his frustration and anger that he has vented for all those time. So he decided to after yelling at his mom, he decided to call his friends and start doing things that he knows he's not supposed to do. And he walked to his friends and took them together and went into a stream. Now he did that because tough one. Lin Fong. Lin, sorry.
He did that because he wanted to catch the fish in the stream. Why? He's always been a very, 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 very industrious person. Fish means he can sell, sell means he get money, money means he can buy more stuff. In this terms, more toys. So what does toys mean? He can play more. And because of that, Joanna?
And because of that, he convinced his friends to weave together a net and cast it across the stream to see what he would end up catching in that net. And so they did that. They weaved the net. They spent a few hours doing it. They cast it across the stream, and they waited and see what got caught in the net. And then they all ran down to the stream when they felt a bit of tugging, and they found Jamuna.
Where's your because?
Yeah. And they found an animal that got stuck there because, okay.
Because they heard some noises of crying for help, help, help. And they were so curious to find out about the animal that was caught in the net. And then when they went nearer, the animal changed and transformed. There was light radiating from it, and they felt like, you know, it was shaking, and the stream was like small waves forming and creating a ripple effect. So they got shocked and frightened because Jang, 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 Fina.
Because they are so worried and curious to know what's that. Can they go nearer? Should they run? Should they wait? They are also worried that, you know, their mom might find out that they have gone to the stream against her wishes. She told them many, many times, there are creatures, unknown, mysterious things over there. But you know what? They said, Mom know nothings because Elsa.
Muted. Elsa, you're muted.
Because the mother was never at home, so they never knew how wise and clever she was about these mysterious creatures. So they decided to ignore their mother. Am I the last one?
Yep.
Are your children listening?
Anyway, because they all ignored their mother, especially this little boy, they went to live with the mysterious creatures and ended up living happily ever after.
Ooh, come on.
Okay.
There you go. Wow. See, all the bunch of beautiful bunch of creative, interesting participants we have today.
I'm just curious, Jason.
Yeah.
Where would you use that? Because sometimes people say, oh, all these activities and all that, when you do in training, they all have to have a purpose, you know, they need to kind of align with the objective and all that. So just, you know, for that reason, where would you use an activity like that, for example?
Okay, for instance, after lunch, okay, usually, we, you know, trainers like us, we call after lunch is a graveyard shift. Okay, so people will be falling asleep. So you want to make sure that they are alert, okay, and they'll be waiting for their turn. Okay, so this is how you keep your audience with you, all right, by having this sort of activities. Okay, sometimes if you notice that they are switching off their videos or they are dozing off, okay, these are the activities that you can bring in. So as much as I do believe that sometimes you need to have the activities that you have, you play, you have to be purposeful. You have to be aligned with the topic. Okay, it's true. I agree with you. But at times, just to break the boredom, especially if your topic is technical related topic, IT, or you know those topic that you find it so difficult to make it interesting, to bring in a fun element. So these are the activities that you can bring in between.
That's a great tip for you, Lai Lin Fong. Okay, in all these technical engagements, you have a lot of these business technical meetings, which can be, like so straight up. Yeah, that's a great suggestion. And sometimes, yeah, I personally feel that, as you say, as an energizer, you don't really need something with so much of meaning. You can just do something light just to break the ice, get people energized back again, which again brings me to the next question. These games and activities that we do, such as what you just played with us, it goes down very well with millennials, with younger executives, even mid sort of level executives and so on. But there are people who say that, the higher end people like C-suite, CEO level and -1s, like directors levels and all that, like older people, right? They might be a little, man, what's all these games you want us to play? We all are too serious for this. So how do you engage those people in those higher executive positions? Do we look for sort of more intellectual games? Because what you're doing here is just sort of engagement on this platform. But there are other sort of technical tools which can actually, make those cerebral type of people excited. Do you have any such tools that you could name for our audience?
I mean, some of it, I believe you guys have already experienced during your session, like Mentimeter, Kahoot, those are the engagement tools that you can use to engage the audience. Besides whatever that we, low tech that we just played, or I wouldn't say it's low tech, no tech required at all, is it? Yeah. So back to your earlier question about senior people, maybe we can try virtual golf after this.
Oh, okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
I think you need to do advanced session for all that, Jason. We'll sign up. I'll be your first sign up for that one.
You see,
right.
You see, it works the same for every level, to be honest. Okay. To me, engagement is all about keeping their attention and focus. The main thing was never on games and activities, but the purpose of having them. So regardless of how simple your game may be or how high-tech an activity can be, that you might fear it's too hip for senior positions, what you want is to have their attention and focus throughout your session. Because the meeting is only effective if your participants are with you, as I mentioned just now, okay? And engage throughout the session. Baby boomers or millennials. You see, having said that, we still have to be wise in choosing the right activity to align with our message, our contents, okay? And knowing your audience before applying it. Okay? Then only there's two-way communication. You are creating two-way communication. Our ultimate job as a facilitator is to convey the contents in the most effective way by creating active participation, interaction, and fun. Yeah? That's what engagement is all about.
Yep, absolutely true, Jason. Now, so you've designed that virtual engagement program for those who want to learn to make online engagement interesting. I think many of us here are your alumni for that program and still coming back to listen to what you have to say because, there's always something new and exciting. Any of Jason's programs, there'll always be one new game, for us to learn. So we just finished one. Are you doing when's your next workshop? Let's come right out and say it, Jason. When's your next workshop?
Yeah, thank you. My next upcoming workshop, which will start on 4th November. I'm very honored that I will be partnering with the VLC Grandmaster himself.
Nazrin.
Our Sifu, Muhammad Nazrin. Yeah. He's the one who brought me into this virtual world. Okay? We are going to have some serious fun, guys. Okay, so for those of you that have yet to sign up, you don't want to miss this. I only have 4 more slots left. You can go to my Facebook business page, Jason K Consultancy, and there will be the link on my latest post, and you can register yourself. Okay, hope to see you guys there.
Thank you so much, Jason. It's really been a very fruitful afternoon for me. Even as I have already learned from you, I'm still learning from you here. And I hope that our audience has learned as much. For those of you who really want to take this deeper, delve deeper, it doesn't mean that Jason's tools can only be used for training. His tools are also very effective for meetings, collaborations, any kind of interactions that you want to do online. You might even learn how to do Zoom parties using his tools and making them more exciting. Yeah. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. As you can see, Jason is a person who's very fired up by what he does. Okay. Fired up by what he does. He's very excited. Oh, you added some eyebrows as well, Jason. He's created some really amazing tools. His program is, oh wow, his fire is better than mine. So he's created really amazing tools, and it's really been an enlightening time. Thank you so much, Jason. I wish you very well, all the best with taking this virtual engagement training of yours and helping people to take their training to new heights. To everyone who's attended this evening on the Zoom platform, thank you for being here and for playing our game. And this is the Sheila Exchange, and I am Sheila Singham with Jason Kalaichelvam.
Thank you so much for having me, Sheila.